Hello again and welcome back to another one. And today we have a couple of topics to cover, from an update that shows Eminem take legal action to protect the Shady brand, that takes us back to the story we covered last year when Real Housewives of Potomac stars Giselle Bryant and Robin Dixon filed a trademark for their Reasonably Shady podcast. Eminem swiftly moved to block this from happening for obvious reasons, as Eminem has exclusively used Shady since '98 and has owned the trademark since then. You type Shady into a search engine, you get these images, and add the fact that his daughter's podcast is also called Just a Little Shady. And we have an update on this, as since the Real Housewives stars decided to fight this move to prevent them from trademarking Reasonably Shady, Eminem made his move a few days ago, and we'll expand on this in a bit. Today we also have more from Kxng, who took a deep dive into the conversation about Eminem right now, all thanks to Dr. Umar's wild claims, and Kxng shot it down surgically, as you'd see at the latter part of the video, and we'll be exploring a theory online that pretty much lines up with Kxng's take on this situation, and we'll get to this later. So starting with the Shady trademark battle, XXL recently reported this: since the Real Housewives stars decided to fight back, it goes, Eminem files protective order to prevent the Real Housewives stars from using the word Shady in podcast title. It is important to note that this was all fine until they decided to file for the trademark for Reasonably Shady, and now even their podcast title will most likely have to change. XXL reports the case began last year when Eminem opposed the trademark filing for Reasonably Shady, which was launched in 2021. Dixon and Bryant then tried to get the court to shoot down the rapper's request and asked that he be deposed. M's legal team wasn't trying to hear it. As a threshold matter, applicants' motion to compel is premature and procedurally improper, as applicants have yet to observe opposer with a notice of deposition, a necessary prerequisite to taking and requesting that the board compel a deposition. Eminem's lawyer argued opposer's motion to compel the deposition of Mathers is also premature and unwarranted because, despite opposer's expression that the deposition would be duplicative and unduly burdensome given Mathers' limited knowledge of the subject at issue, his absence of unique knowledge of the subjects at issue, and others' superior knowledge of said issues, M then filed the protective order in an attempt to avoid deposition. And it is wild how none of these reports also bring up the fact that Eminem's daughter is also using the Shady trademark for her podcast. Even back in 2023, on the page 6 report of this, someone brought it up back then. This article fails to mention that Eminem's daughter also has a podcast titled Just a Little Shady. I'm thinking possible confusion between both podcasts may have prompted the lawsuit, and while some still don't get it, with takes like, damn, Eminem is getting greedy with his flex loudly crying emoji, some had to break it down, since people seem to forget that they started this by trying to file the trademark. If he doesn't stop them from using it, then they can go after his daughter for her podcast name. And mind you, Eminem has owned the Shady trademark for decades. I don't even understand why they would file a trademark using that name to begin with. And another user expanded, nah, he's protecting his brand as any businessman would do. Even if his daughter didn't have a podcast, he still would have filed to stop them from filing the trademark, as he's held the Shady trademark for decades. Go file a trademark for a podcast called Reasonably Nike, a name common in cultures around the world from Asia, Europe to Africa. File it and find out. Moving on, Kxng on his Crooks Corner weekly show did a deep dive into the whole Dr. Umar Eminem statement that M cannot be one of the best rappers of all time because he's non-African. And before he went in, he briefly spoke about how the conversation on Eminem's race has become tiring.
It starts to feel like, okay, this is an old conversation. You know, like, I wish you'd just come out and say exactly what you want to say. You know what I mean? Because the conversation is getting old.
3, bruh.
2, 1, go.
Of course, skin color doesn't make anyone master any skill just by existing. It is a ridiculous argument, and Kxng expanded on how thousands of hours put into practice is what got Eminem to this position, just like the few elite MCs in hip-hop music.
Certain artists who have far surpassed Malcolm Gladwell's 10,000 hours of practice, of study. And they have gone to different levels in this art form called lyricism. And Eminem is one of them. Don't matter what you say. Don't matter what I say. It just is what it is. And it ain't like Marshall just be all on social media doing hella interviews, just outside all the time saying, yo, I'm the greatest of all time and I'm white. When have you heard him say that in an interview? Make a post like that, go live and say it. You haven't. But people are bringing his name up as if he's super active when it comes to pushing that narrative. Like he is actively pushing that narrative. And he's not. He's chilling. And when he got on my interview on Crook's Corner, what'd he say? He said, I never said I was the king of hip hop. You feel me? So, and we certainly not going to judge every single lyric that somebody says in a song because we all talk in songs. That's what MCs do. It's a competitive sport. You got to let the next man know that you iller. Sometimes. It ain't all about that. It's about songwriting too. It's about storytelling. But every now and then, you got to let the next man know you can't with me.
And he ended his deep dive with how people are focused on the wrong things when it comes to the culture, focused on a rapper who minds his business for the most part. MC Shan also made a similar argument about being focused on the wrong things.
That's how it was, son. And so, Dr. Umar, I understand you on this black culture thing, but you're jumping on the wrong thing.
And I don't know if this was intentional, because King Crooked brought up how we have bigger things to worry about right now, like the allegations.
We got bigger conversations in hip-hop we should be having right now. We have bigger conversations in hip-hop we should be having right now. Hip-hop has been hijacked. Hip-hop has been hijacked. It ain't even people from the culture or of the culture in control of the culture. All these allegations coming out like, yo, I don't want to believe it's true. I'm just keeping it real with y'all. Can I just be honest? I don't want to believe it's true. Because if it is true, that's some stuff that's going on. And it's already enough stuff going on. You feel me? Now, am I naive? Hell no. Do I know that powerful people abuse their power every single day in the rap music business?
Now, I said I don't know if this was intentional because the theory online is that the Eminem discussion was kickstarted on the Joe Budden podcast to take eyes away from the hip-hop mogul who 50 Cent has been going at. That's been the theory online by some users, so there's that, and I'll be looking forward to your thoughts below. Thanks for watching and see you on the next one.
Mission accomplished.